Welcome, my friends, to another edition of Wednesday Night Live right here on Mike Avery Outdoors. My name is Mike Avery. It's Wednesday night, and we're live. So it must be another edition of Wednesday Night Live. And I'm so glad to have you along with us as we continue our conversation, our exploration of the outdoor lifestyle and those of us who enjoy it. Greg, good evening. How are you, my friend? Bug guy? Am I a bug guy too? I thought I was a big guy. John, you missed it last week. 41 seconds on the buzzer. Good evening, Gary. How are you? I figured that's what you meant. Greg, how are you, my friend? Gary, nice to have you along with us as well on another edition of Wednesday Night Live on Mike Avery Outdoors. Tim, good evening. How are you? We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. Hello, Tom. How are you this evening? Nice to have you with us. Randy, always a pleasure. Ed Bolanowski, my friend. How are you? Randy checking in from the fair, the Midland County Fair. Which one? Good evening, Randy. Have you been fishing at all? Not me. Here we go. Jim says, Mike, what day is it? It's hump day. Greg checking in from Olivet. Good evening. How are you? Yo. Hello, Mike. Yo. Hello, Cameron. How are you? Jerry checking in from Marlette. Good evening, Ed. Nice to have you along with us. It is hump day. You're perching. And how's that going for you, Randy? Sam, good evening. How are you? Tammy checking in from Howard City. Always a pleasure to have you along with us, my friends, as we celebrate another Wednesday Night Live. I've got some what I think are interesting topics to talk about tonight. David, good evening. How are you? And I got to be honest, not all of them good topics. Johnny says the Bears were looking for my blind. It's not there. It's going to be up in White River, and they're going to find me there, and they're going to eat my my blind there too. Dan, how are you? Jim, good evening. Getting ready myself to head to White River. Putting together the bear baits, setting up the camera live, still in the UP. The fishing could always be better, right, Randy? Always. I don't care how good it is. It could always be better. Good evening, Rick. Greg, I will certainly do that. I will do daily updates from White River. I'll be posting pictures. I'll be posting video. I'll be showing a trail camera video, trail camera pictures. I'll probably do a Wednesday morning live next Wednesday morning. I don't know about a Wednesday night live. If I'm done with my hunt by then, I'll do a Wednesday night live. But I will certainly keep you updated from White River, Ontario, Canada, where I'm heading. Mike says, where is White River? Mike, White River, Ontario, Canada. It's on the north shore of Lake Superior. It's about an hour west of Wawa. Wawa. Oh, seriously, the town is called Wawa. Kevin's at the Mud Jam in Hale. Tammy says the fishing habitat is going down on her lake where you live. Idiots pulling out all the stumps because they don't want to hit them when they're skiing. Is that what it is? Mike spent a week on Drummond Island. The weather was challenging for fishing. William's getting good numbers of bear and red oak. I'm very excited about this hunt here in White River for several reasons. Number one, I haven't been up there in a couple of years. Those bears have not been hunted in a year and a half. There's no berry crop this year. So they're looking for food. They're coming into White River, the town of White River. That's always a good sign. The only downside, possible downside, is Sunday night is a full moon. I hate deer or bear hunting on a full moon. However, the moon phase is going to get nothing but better after Sunday night. Oh, Michelle, how are you? Keep an eye on that lug of a husband. You're right, Louis. There should be some good-sized bears. Yes. So I'm really excited about it. I got my COVID test this afternoon. Hello, Jeff, checking in on YouTube. How are you? Good luck bear hunting. Don't be afraid to shoot one. Life is getting shorter as we're older, breaking that new toxin. Tony, I appreciate you saying that. And it wouldn't be that I would be afraid to shoot one, but I think I know what you're saying. I have a tendency just to sit back and watch critters walk by and just get them on videotape and enjoy them. And I've shot so many bears that I really don't have room for another bear rug or a bear mount. So there would be two reasons why I would shoot. If an absolutely beautiful bear or a giant walks in front of me, um, or just a nice sized bear walks in front of me and quarters away and puts its right shoulder or puts its leg ahead. You do not have to have a COVID test to come back to the States, Ed. Cameron, where I am, they don't speak French. They speak good old English. When I hunt in Quebec, they speak French. How is that new dart and crossbow? Oh, Dan. Oh my gosh, you brought up a crossbow. I'm just terrible for shooting a crossbow, right? It's shooting very well. I want to. You bring it up, Dan. I'm gonna bring up something here. I posted a picture the other day of the fact that I was giving up my recurve and going over to a crossbow because I wanted the confidence of shooting a crossbow. Let me tell you one of the comments I got here, and this is kind of funny. It's from a guy named he might have deleted it. George Williams III. George Williams III posted on my page when I said, okay, I want the confidence of shooting a crossbow. I'm going to give up my recurve. George W. Williams III said, that's what all women say about why they shoot cross guns. George W. Williams III made a comment, that's what all women say about why they shoot cross guns, X guns. George W. Williams III, it's comments and thinking like that will be the death of hunting. And that's what I told him. I said, that's funny, George, and spoken like a true archery snob. It's thinking like that'll be the death of hunting as we know it today. And I said, by the way, George, what are you shooting? Because unless it's a handmade longbow with cedar arrows and flint broadheads, you're probably better off not to say anything. Because I will guarantee you he's using technology as well. Isn't that funny? Jeff says, that's after he adjusted his ascot. It is that type of snobbery and infighting in the outdoor world that will be the death of hunting today. And that's, to be honest with you, one reason why I'm not a big fan of Pope and Young. Even when I was shooting a recurve, I wasn't a big fan of Pope and Young. I think there is a tendency there to be a little bit of an archery snob in that group. Hunt your hunt, shoot what's legal, be proficient with it, make good, quick, humane killing shots, and enjoy it. This is what I'm going to be shooting out of that crossbow. Rec. Michigan-based, family-owned company made in America. 2-blade, 100-grain expandables. With my recurve, I would obviously not shoot expandables, but with a crossbow, I like expandables. I like the idea of supporting a family-owned Michigan-based company. I've never used these before. They come highly recommended. I will let you know how they perform if I put one through a bear. I thank you, Sam. I have not shot them yet. I have talked to other guys who've shot them. They said they fly very well. Well, let me take this back. I shot their, they have practice points that are shaped just like these and supposedly fly just right, like these, and they fly very well. They were hitting about an inch. They were hitting about 2 inches right at 30 yards. So I adjusted my scope back a little bit. But they seem to fly very well. Hello, Jeff. How are you? Jeff, our buddy Dave. Well, I want to take an opportunity to talk about this right now. You all know I have a good friend, wild game chef extraordinaire Dave Miner. Dave could use some prayers right now. Um, he's having problems with his back. He's having surgery, another surgery on Friday. Dave has very bad arthritis in his back. It's degenerative arthritis, and it's to the point where the bones in his back are deteriorating. So he's got another surgery on Friday to get it fixed again. He's in a lot of pain right now. He is very discouraged, as you can imagine. So if you are a faith-filled person, I would ask you to pray for Chef Dave Miner. Give him comfort and healing. Fair enough, Patrick. Fair enough. Fred says Pope and Young, and I don't disagree with this. Fred says Pope and Young is one of the most respected organizations for archery that there is. Yes, I can't argue with that. But I think they're also an elitist organization. Patrick makes an interesting comment. Says, always shoot the broadhead you're going to use. Don't trust the practice heads. And I will, Patrick, I will. Tomorrow I'm going to shoot again, and I'll take one of these broadheads and actually shoot it. So yes, you are 1,000% correct. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. And Dave does as well. Yeah, I do too. And actually, if Dave knew I was saying this, he would probably be uncomfortable, but so be it. Okay, I need to talk about some very important things. You know, this is the bear hunting is fun, the broadheads are fun, the crossbow conversation actually brings up an interesting point. And it all fits together very well and a little bit in a disturbing way. Let me read you two quick things. And believe me, I'm not going to take long. Website for rec broadheads. Recbroadheads.com. R-E-K, recbroadheads.com. Thank you, Chad. Recbroadheads.com. Michigan-based, family-owned. American-made. You know I love that. In Oregon, they're trying to get a question on the ballot that would criminalize injuring or killing animals, including farming, ranching, hunting, fishing, trapping, and pest control. They're trying to get this on the November 2022 ballot. And they think, a pretty good shot of getting this on the ballot. They want to make Oregon, a wildlife sanctuary state by getting a question on the ballot. And you know what happens when questions like this get on the ballot. They want to make it a wildlife sanctuary state and make it illegal to injure or kill an animal through hunting, fishing, farming, pest control, trapping. And you might say, well, okay, that's Oregon. That's the West Coast. What do we care about that here in Michigan? Last night, maybe 2 nights ago, this from Ann Arbor. This evening, this is last night, the city council or maybe 2 nights ago, the city council for Ann Arbor, Michigan, voted unanimously to become the first city in the Midwest to ban the sale of new fur products. Ann Arbor is also the first city in a fur-producing state to ban fur sales. The ordinance includes a 1-year phase-out and exemptions for used fur used by tribal communities, and pelts from cows, sheep, and deer. Molly something or other, Michigan State Director for the Humane Society of the United States, says Ann Arbor has now become the Midwest leader in the fight against the fur industry. That's from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Now, keep in mind, we all know Ann Arbor is almost in Ohio, right? You combine this with the fact that the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners, had earlier voted against hunting contests, followed up by the Washtenaw County Board of Commissioners, took a similar action, both of them symbolic, but still they came out against hunting. So we've got that out there. And yet we still have people in our own outdoor community infighting about crossbows, hound hunting versus bait hunting, catch and release versus catch and keep, antler point restrictions. And people making dumbass comments. Did I just say that? I did. On my Facebook page about that's what all women say when they start shooting crossbows. We are going to lose what we have if we don't watch it. Please, I've said this so many times and I'll say it again. Don't fall for the rhetoric of the Humane Society of the United States. They want to make you think they're saving puppies and kittens. If you want to truly save puppies and kittens, give money to your local animal shelter. They save puppies and kittens. Humane Society, PETA, Fund for Animals, those are all just blatant anti-hunting, anti-trapping, anti-fishing, anti-agriculture, anti-farming, anti-livestock operations. But they are very well funded. They are very politically connected and very public relations astute. And when they see us fighting each other over crossbows and baiting and antler point restrictions, they just sit back. Actually, what they do is they crawl out of their holes. They sit by the rock near the mouth of the cave and they start to smile because they know that they're halfway to winning the battle. I was just going to say, Larry, I was just going to say, on that note, why don't we switch gears? Larry says, dang, bring us some good news. You're a step ahead of me, Larry. Oh, can I tell you who's on the radio show this week? By the way, my name is Mike Avery. Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Sometimes these are very lighthearted, very comical in some ways shows, and sometimes they're a little more edgy, and it just depends on what's kind of going on in the world. Let me tell you who's on the radio show this week. We start out with Lori Card of Wild Card Outdoor Adventures, talking about women in the outdoors and a catfish noodling trip she went on. Would I ever have a member of PETA on my show? Not in 1,000,000 billion years, because I'm not about to give them any kind of exposure. They can get it on their own. Mad Jack says, what day is it? Mike, what day is it? It's hump day. I got my new permanent tooth now, too, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm a happy guy. Nick Buja of the Michigan Wildlife Council talks about this continued war against the anti-hunters. In hour number 2, Randy Booty of Savage Dog Outdoors, he's put down like 105 coyotes so far this year. He talks about that. Amy Trotter of MUCC, she was at the Wolf Advisory Committee meeting where the retired DNR biologist, Kevin Swanson, made a statement that really rocked everybody's world in the wolf world. She talks about that and more. And then we wrap it up with Captain Lance Valentine of Teachin' Fishin'. No Chef Dave Miner this week. He was going through MRIs and X-rays and everything else. Scott got his first fall turkey permit this year. Thank you for the reminder, Scott. Now I think those of us who forgot to put in for a fall turkey tag in Michigan, I think the first week in September you can go out and buy them over the counter, but don't quote me on that one. Pretty soon. Just Crystal Light at this point, but after this show tonight, there will be some Maker's Mark in there. Oh, what else? No, I did not see that. How many wolves Wisconsin approved? Like 300 or more. God bless Wisconsin. Hey, don't forget about the promo codes. Lance is a great guy, isn't he, Gary? He's just a great guy. I love Lance. Lance is one of my favorite people in the world and one of the most interesting people I've ever talked to. Promo codes, primaltreestands.com, primaltreestands.com. Use the promo code Mike20. This is important because I have been sending you to outdoorpregame.com. Now you need to go to primaltreestands.com. You can get the Wraith 270 see-through blind. I'll be taking one of those to White River with me so the bears can chew on it. I'll be taking one of the warm weather breeze blinds to White River with me so the bears can chew on it. But you can get unchewed on blinds at primaltreestands.com using the promo code Mike20 at deep discount. MichiganBrand.net, Mike21 for 20% off on everything on the website, and MUCC.org, promo code Mike, all caps, 25% off on your membership. Knob Creek, eh? Tim, Randy Iamurray has been out there. He just posted that he was getting a few fish. So, Jason says, so the bears can chew on it. Yeah. Jason, there are two schools of thought when it comes to putting a portable pop-up blind out for bear hunting. And I have hunted bears from a tree stand, but I enjoy it more from the ground. I use the portable pop-up blinds. Two schools of thought. One of them is the Richard P. Smith school of thought, that you wait and put your blind up the day that you hunt, so you don't give them any idea that you're in there. The second school of thought is that you put them up early so the bears can get used to them. That's the school that I subscribe to. Now, I'm not saying I know more than Richard P. Smith, but in this situation, I like to put them up early. The problem with that is the bears realize there's something different there, and being curious animals, they come over to investigate. And when a bear investigates something, he does it by smelling it and tasting it and touching it. That means they chew on it. That means they claw it. And I've had a dozen blinds that ended up with teeth marks in them or claw marks in them. And it's not because they're being aggressive. It's not because they're trying to, they're just curious, and they're bears. They do what bears do. John says he got 24 perch yesterday. Craig says Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation is raffling off an elk hunt in Kentucky if anybody wants another chance at elk. Wonderful. Thank you. I did see your email, Craig. I apologize for that. Speaking of wild card outdoor adventures and just wild women in general, Lori Card is with us now. Lori Card Stroik, wildcardoutdoors.com. I told you she kicked off the show this week talking about her catfish noodling adventure and getting women involved in the outdoors. Rick says, leave a worn t-shirt in the blind. I have done that, Rick. I did that last year hunting with Johnny Bowler. In fact, what I did was I mowed the lawn in 2 t-shirts, so they were good and sweaty. I took them, Johnny and I took them out there, and we hung them in 2 different blinds. And guess what? The bears chewed them up. If I would have known this comment was going to come up, I would have brought one of the t-shirts. I saved one of them. It's an old Ferris State College t-shirt that I had, or Ferris University. And they put holes in it. Jason said, I didn't know that. I was thinking you meant so they can ruin it because they keep doing that to you. Well, they do kind of ruin it. I mean, sometimes they'll just outright destroy them. They like to get on them and push them down. And in the old blinds, when you did that, the sticks and the hubs supports would just break. These newer, more flexible hub style blinds that I'm using from Primal, they can take a pretty good beating. They're like a Timex. Jerry says, trying to get your hunter sticks. If you can't find them locally, Jerry, go to MichiganBrand.net. That's MichiganBrand.net. You can buy anything on the website at MichiganBrand.net. They will ship it to you. And if you use the promo code Mike21, you get like a 20 or 25% discount. Lori does a great job. She's a hardcore outdoor enthusiast, and she's a huge proponent for getting women in the outdoors. Do I cover the blinds with ferns and sticks to hide it? No, I don't, Ryan, because in my opinion, you're not going to hide it. You're 15 yards from the bait. There's no way the bears aren't going to see it. Now, I understand that if you're whitetail hunting and you're out in the cornfield or something, you can blend them in and make them absolutely disappear. But in this case, you're so close. I try to put a background behind it. I don't try to. Although I will tell you this, one of the biggest bears I ever shot, about 350 pounds. I know Fair State College is a collector's item. Too late, they already got it. One of the biggest bears I ever shot in White River, a 350-pound plus animal. I put the blind up the day that I shot him on the broad side of a hill with no cover, no trees around it, nothing. There was a flat rock on the side of the hill above the bait, and I chose that spot to put the blind. It was out there for God and everybody to see. It wasn't hiding at all. And 3 hours later, a great big boar walked in and I shot him. Okay, Randy, he caught 40 plus perch on Monday, but lots of little ones. What are we talking about? I think I know, Rick, but I forgot all about it. Martin, how are you? If you're just joining us, my name is Mike Avery. This is another edition of Wednesday Night Live. It's something I do every Wednesday night on my social media outlets. I also do a live show behind the scenes, behind the mic. We call it Mike Behind the Mic from the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. Timex. There you go. Thank you, Rick. That was kind of obscure for us old guys, wasn't it? And gals. This is my home office, my home studio. This is where I usually do Wednesday Night Lives. We had wanted to do a Wednesday Night Live at Oscar and Joey's last week. It didn't work out because Oscar and Joey's is not open right now on Wednesday. It's going to be a while before we do anything at Oscar and Joey's. We need our friend Dave to heal and get better. The next in-person live Wednesday Night Live I have planned at this point, scheduled, is Wednesday, September 8th at Jay's Sporting Goods in Clare to help celebrate their 50th anniversary. Bernie says he watched the video of your last TV show with Fred Bear again. Never gets old. Back when you had hair. I've still got hair. Bernie, I just shave it off because I don't like dealing with hair, so I just shave it off. But thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Well, happy Wednesday to you, Paul. Who was it? Dave Thomas of Bowhunter Planet sent me a text today for some reason. He says, how many years you been doing outdoor broadcasting? I said, well, this is my 40th year in broadcasting, and I started the outdoor stuff pretty soon after I started. So probably about 35 years. Again, this is what I'm going to take with me to White River on that. I'm shooting a Darton Toxin 100 reverse draw. Now, I don't think we've talked about this, have we? Maybe we did. I was shooting their 150, and it was too much for me. It was too intimidating. It was too fast, too powerful, too hard to cock, too much stored energy 2 feet in front of my face for a guy who's been shooting a recurve for the last 2 years. It just made me nervous. Corey, this is the one I'm going to try. This is the Rec. It's American made. I'm using their expandable version because with the crossbow, you can get away with it. Family owned, Michigan based, American made Rec, R-E-K, recbroadheads.com. They seem to fly pretty well. I'm using their practice points right now, but as somebody pointed out earlier, make sure you actually shoot one of the broadheads, and I will do that tomorrow, in fact. So far, I haven't obviously put them through an animal yet. I will let you know how they perform if I do get the opportunity, but I'm thinking they look pretty darn good. What else? James says his 12-year-old shot his first deer last year with a crossbow. He was impressed. Close up, please, Rick says. 100 grain, 1.85 inch cut, 2-blade, expandable. Here's what you want to see. Ultra thick. What is that? 0.039. I can't read it. 29 stainless steel blades. There's what you want to see right there. I know that's what you're asking. Don, interesting question. Who have I wanted to interview but didn't have the opportunity? How many pound draw weight is the 100? I Don't know, but the 150 was 220 pounds. It was just too much for me. I know it's a safe bow because the people at Darton are very, very conscientious and they do a lot of testing, but it was too much for me. It wasn't a true Robin Hood, Craig. I hit the side of it. I will take some of my Mike Avery Hunter sticks with me. The bears do love them. So yeah, I'm going to give these a try. And pretty excited to do so. You'd fear it breaking. The bow, you mean, Craig? That's kind of. I knew that the bow wasn't going to blow apart in front of me because Dartons don't do that. But it just made me uncomfortable. It was too much. It was more than I needed for 15 yards on a bear bait. Dad got the Serpent many years ago solely because of the lip to protect your fingers, the lip underneath, so you can't get your fingers up in a string. Believe me, I am very conscientious when I shoot a crossbow. Because it takes a lot of time with the crossbow. It took me a lot of time with the crossbow to get, honestly, to where I wasn't afraid of them. And even now, I am very careful how I handle them. With the anti-dry fire built in, with the safety guards that you can't get your fingers in there, yada, yada, yada. I am still very, very careful. That Darton Toxin 100, one of the things I like about it, when you cock it, it automatically goes into a safe mode. You've got to turn the safety off to shoot it. All righty, Scott. Have a good evening. Wasp, where did I go? Wasp jackhammer heads. Excellent. Good to know. I used to shoot G5s too, just because I like Michigan companies. Dan had a Robin Hood one time, and of course, his wife said, "There you go. You ruined 2 arrows." Jason says he really likes his Barnett, but he wishes he would have gone with a Darton. Whatever works for you, Jason. Those Wasp heads, I've heard nothing but good things about Wasp. And I'm hoping to hear, listen, I have no business relationship with these guys at all, but I know that they're family-owned, Michigan-based, American-made, and I've heard good things. So I'm going to give them a try. I'm excited to. If they don't work, if I do have the opportunity to put them through a bear and I'm disappointed with them, I will tell you. If I put them through a bear and I think they do a good job, I will tell you. Here's an obscure broadhead for you, but the best mechanical broadhead I ever used with a crossbow was made from the old Game Tracker out of Flushing. What is this? Why did it do that? Help me out. The old Game Tracker, Flushing, Carbon Express. It was a Carbon Express F15 expandable. I don't even think they've made those for years. The feet per second on, it wasn't the stiletto, it was the F15 expandable. And man, they were great. Feet per second on the crossbow I'm shooting is 380-ish. The 150 was 440. Listen, if I was hunting elk out west and had to make a 75-yard shot, I'd go with the 150. But I'm doing bears right on top of them, turkeys right on top of them, and whitetails pretty much right on top of them. All right, John, have a good evening. I remember the old Game Tracker stiletto. Remember the old Game Tracker string tracker? Yeah, the best one I ever used was the Carbon Express F15 expandable. Look that up. Plenty fast, to be sure. When you consider that the recurve I was shooting was about 192 feet per second. And that was fine. Gary has used Carbon Express arrows at one time. So did I. I was thinking about this the other day. The first carbon arrow I ever used was an old Beeman arrow, and they were the very, very thin ones that you didn't use an insert on. You put an outsert on the shaft. They were so skinny. Jeff says, "That string tracker. Ugh." Rick says, "Yeah, it was like fighting a fish in the woods." The concept was interesting, wasn't it? And for those of you who don't know, there was a canister, a plastic canister that you put in your stabilizer insert on your bow, on the riser. And in that canister was a spool of string wound so that it was supposed to come out easy. And the concept was you attached those to the back of your broadhead on your arrow. You shot the animal, the string came out, and in theory, it didn't affect your arrow flight. And then you've got a string in theory that you follow from your point of shooting to your animal. And Jeff said they worked really good up until the point where you couldn't see your deer anymore. William says he believed Bob Ransom owned Game Tracker. No, not the case. Bob Ransom at one time worked for the company. They got into a disagreement and he left that company to start Ameristep. That's the relationship there. Mike says, we thought those string trackers were high tech until you used them. I actually, I'll tell you this. Because I was working with the company at the time, I was using the string trackers. I had more positive results than I had negative. Ian says he used it 20 years ago. It kind of worked. The string got caught up in brush, but it still kind of helped. Yeah. Overall, I had more positive experiences with it than I did negative. I don't think they ever cost me an animal, and I suspect they always broke off. Yeah, absolutely. But I do think they were probably overall more animals recovered from them than were lost because of them. Trying for trout on the Asable. Have fun, Eric. The hex hatch is over, right? Long over. That's a midsummer thing, I think. I don't pretend to be a fly fisherman. Carbon Express. That was a game tracker. Carbon Express. They were a player at one point, and I'm not saying they're not now, but at one point they were a big deal. Oh, what else? So I got my COVID test today. It was the last thing I had to do. To go into Canada, you use a Enter Canada app on your phone. You got to go in and you got to tell them where you're going. You got to tell them what time you're crossing the border, what entry point you're coming through. You have to tell them what vaccination you got on the first one and the second one, where you got it, not meaning in your arm, but what country you got it from, the date that you got it. And then you have to give them proof that you had a negative COVID test within 72 hours of crossing over. And I don't mean, when I say crossing over, I don't mean dying and crossing over into the next world. I mean crossing over into Ontario. So I got my COVID test this afternoon. They said it should be 28 to 48 hours. And then they send you a text to your phone that you can download a document, and I can show them that at the border. My thought on NAP Spitfires. Mad Jack, no experience with them at all, so I cannot make a comment. Just don't know. But wait, never mind. What does that mean? What does that mean, Greg? White Efrons are next. What does that mean? Chad's been using SIK broadheads, SK2 with awesome success from turkey, deer to Africa, 6 African animals. Chad would know. About the shots and tests and so on. I got you. Steven said he wanted to grab the string and fight the critter. The biggest buck, and this is a sad story. I hate to tell it, but I'm going to tell it anyway because you know me. Biggest buck I ever shot in Michigan. I made many, many mistakes. I shot it over bait. Baiting was legal and acceptable and pervasive then. It was in the middle of a stand of pines. There was nowhere to put a tree stand because the pines weren't big enough. So what I did was, it was all sand. I dug a pit blind, sat down in it, and put some pine boughs in front of me to hide. And it was actually pretty effective because the pine hid my scent. I was underneath a pine tree in the ground over bait. And it was a pretty slick setup. So I'm sitting there one night, and I'm telling you, the biggest Michigan buck I have ever had in front of me walked into the bait. 150. I'm not a numbers guy, but I mean, I'm just trying to tell you, he was very, very impressive. Big bodied, big racked. He came into the bait and he started to feed facing me dead on. Now, don't, if you learn from this story, learn that I screwed up. Facing me. I was shooting an old Darton, maybe even an SL50 at the time. And I thought, he's going to turn. Sooner or later, he's going to turn. He never did. He kept facing me and facing me. And so my mind started to go, I'm starting to freak out here a little bit, to be honest with you. Biggest buck I've ever seen in person. He's like 15 yards in front of me. I'm very well concealed. He has no idea I'm there, but he won't turn and give me a shot. So I'm thinking, well, I'll bet you that if I shoot him head on and shoot him off to the side a little bit, I can get in his lung right here. No, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not a good idea. It's a mistake. Don't do it. Oh, but you can. Avery, you can do it. That's a shot. You can make that shot. Plus, you've got a string tracker on here. So even if it's a marginal shot, you'll recover it. The stupid side of me won, as often is the case. I draw back. I'm waiting for the perfect shot on this beautiful buck. He never turned, and I didn't have the discipline to wait. I let the shot go. I hit him right where I wanted to. Right where I wanted to. Hit him. He took off. I mean, he was such a big-bodied animal that when he took off, it was like a cow running. He took off. The string tracker starts to go out. I mean, it's going fast. And for a split second, I thought, I killed that buck. But then the string kept going and going and going and going. And I started to get nervous. And then it stopped. I thought, he's down. He's down. Well, the reason the string stopped going out was the buck had run so far and did a circle that it got caught up in some pines and it snapped off. I never recovered that animal. And to this day, it bothers me. Biggest buck I've ever had a shot at. And because I didn't have the patience and discipline to wait for the right shot, I killed him. I know I killed him, but I didn't recover him. So, bringing this thing full circle, when I talk about giving up the recurve because I didn't have the confidence in it to go back to a crossbow because I want to make a quick, clean, humane killing shot, it's things like that that are in the back of my mind that caused me to make the decision that I did. And I'm very happy with that decision. So when jokers like George W. Williams III say, well, that's what all women say about why they shoot cross guns, I say, George, you're an idiot. And it's comments like that that will be the death of hunting as we know it. Hunt your hunt. Do what you think is right. Do what you think is moral. Do what you think is ethical. And as long as it's legal, I say, God bless you. All right, my friends, thanks for joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Next Wednesday night, I will be in White River, Ontario, Canada. If I'm not hunting, I will do a Wednesday night live, but I more than likely will be in the blind that night. I will do a Wednesday morning live at 8:45 from White River. I'll do something there. I will also be posting a lot of video, I will be posting a lot of pictures. I will keep you informed about how I am doing. I hope to cross over into Canada Saturday about noon. If I get up there early enough, I'll put up a couple of blinds on Saturday, but I plan to be hunting on Sunday night. So if you want to know how I'm doing, keep an eye here on the social media outlets. All right, my friends, I appreciate you joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. The website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. The email address, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I always look forward to hearing from you. But I'll be honest, for the next few days, if you reach out to me, Chad, this is interesting. Chad says you're due for one. Chad, I shot one last time I was up there, a big, beautiful sow with a recurve. For the next couple of days, if you reach out to me, I may not respond immediately because I'm going to be busy. Thank you, my friends, for joining me on this edition of